How's it going, guys? It's Josh here. Welcome back to another video. So today I've got a nice little keyboard to show you, the Drevo Calibur. Thanks to the guys at Drevo for sending this keyboard out to me. It's 10 keyless, RGB mechanical and Bluetooth, and that's a pretty impressive set of features, but how does it all stack up? Let's find out. So in the box we get the keyboard itself, a removable micro USB cable, a keycap puller and some instructions. Now the first thing I noticed when getting this thing out of the box is the feel of it. The keys and chassis have this matte coating on them, which is not something I've really seen on many keyboards I've used before. I do quite like it, it's definitely different, but I'm not too sure how it will fare long term. I can see it perhaps going shiny in places after a lot of use, but I guess we'll see. So, as I said earlier, it's a 10 keyless design and has no frame. I know a lot of people like these compact keyboards, they're ideal if you have a smaller desk. The chassis design is simple and feels solid, there's no flex in it at all, so that's good. Also, I'm very impressed by the rubber feet on the back, they've really covered everything here. They're quite wide so it doesn't slip on your desk when it's flat, but what a lot of keyboards I've used before don't take into account is that when you retract the feet on the back, the keyboard is at an angle, so you really need an extra set of rubber feet that are also at an angle for them to still be effective, which this keyboard has. The retractable feet themselves are also good quality. The key font isn't particularly stylized apart from the shift key, and this one is US layout if you were wondering, although you can also get it in UK and German layout. It does look a bit busy in my opinion though. We've got a lot of extra symbols printed onto the keycaps, which I don't think are really necessary. I'll explain a bit more about them later though. Moving on to the keys, this is a mechanical keyboard and we get a nice selection of switches to choose from. Black, red, blue or brown. The model I've got here has the brown switches, which are quite nice. They're a good middle of the road option for typing and gaming. You get some tactile feedback, but they're not clicky like blue switches, and this makes them rather quiet. Here's what they sound like. As you can tell, they're pretty quiet, good for if you're in an environment where noise is an issue. One other thing you'll notice about this keyboard is the lack of a function key row. Instead, they're all doubled up with the number keys to save on space. You can access them by holding the FN key. Moving on to some other features and lighting them, this keyboard, as well as having RGB lighting, comes with Bluetooth 4.0, which is not something you see on every keyboard. This means you can connect it wirelessly to mobile phones, tablets or even your PC, provided it has a Bluetooth receiver. The Bluetooth symbols you see printed on the Q, W and E keys are Bluetooth pairings for 3 separate devices. You simply hold FN plus any one of these for 3 seconds and it will enter pairing mode. Just a quick note about this, if your keyboard is plugged in to charge, it won't pair with any device unless you press FN and the R key to switch from wired to Bluetooth mode. If you are using it wireless, you won't have to do this, but you will have to flick the little switch on the back to the on position. Pairing was nice and easy. As regards the actual Bluetooth typing experience, I've seen quite a few reviews on Amazon say that it's very laggy and unreliable, and perhaps the worst part of this keyboard. I've honestly not found this to be the case at all. Even typing as fast as I can, I've not experienced any lag whatsoever, and so I'd give it a big thumbs up here. Finally, lighting. This is RGB lighting and it's very bright thanks to the LEDs being directly behind the keycap. All the effects are changed on the keyboard itself, no software to be installed here. We get 2 user preset modes. You can select these with FN plus the page up and page down keys, then change each key to whatever colour you want. The main effects can be cycled through with FN and the insert button. There's a snake effect, wave mode, ripple mode, aurora, reactive, advanced reactive, and breathing. These are all listed in the instructions. You can pause most of these effects with FN plus the spacebar, adjust the speed with the left and right arrow keys, and the brightness with the up and down arrow keys. You can also change the colours within some effects with FN plus the delete key, and if you press FN plus backspace it will then allow you to cycle through solid colours. I'll be honest, I've seen better RGB lighting. The instructions are really not very clear at all. It took me quite a while to figure out what you can and can't do with it. Having lighting effects stored on the keyboard itself is fine if they're done correctly, but on this keyboard the whole lighting effect system is just very clunky and downright frustrating to use. For example, in the preset effects, sometimes random keys will just stay a different colour, or the caps lock will light up 2 different colours depending on whether it's activated or not, which I have no idea how to change despite thoroughly reading the instructions and experimenting. As far as I can tell, it's something to do with the user presets interfering with the effects preset, but the instructions just don't explain any of this. We're not even told which effects we can change the colour of, we just have to find out. Like I said, it can be incredibly frustrating, it's not been well thought out, and personally I think Drevo need to redesign the whole lighting system to make it simpler and more user friendly. In conclusion though, for around $55 or £40, you're getting a pretty solid keyboard with a good selection of switches and a few different layouts, and it does come with Bluetooth, which works very well. As long as you're prepared to put in some time to learn how to use the rather complicated lighting system, could be a good choice for you if you're a fan of the matte finish and compact design that the Drevo Calibur has to offer. Thanks very much for watching today guys, feel free to subscribe for more of these types of videos and I'll catch you all in my next one.